Capricorn, this is your mid-June reading with Tarot of the Twin Sun. This will be a relationship reading for you. My name is Ron, your clairvoyant for this evening. So, one thing to be aware of with this season, which is the season of Gemini, Capricorn, is your ability to project. Your ability to project and manifest what you will and how you will, according to certain stellar configurations that are based with manifesting as above is below. This is magician-like energy. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards. They've been pre-shuffled. I will shuffle again and get into the energies of any sort of relationships that you're dealing with, whether they be of a business nature or a love nature, probably focusing more on love. There might have been someone of particular complexion. They are certainly within the throne of their own making, potentially an Aries, and they have certain control issues over a situation or relationship that you've been dealing with, Capricorn. Just so you know, this reading will be more towards singles or people who have the entitlement, Capricorn, of singularity, yet are coming from a state of meditation and flirtatiousness and trying to move beyond the realm of being single. Sorry, I can't talk right now. So clearing the throat chakra is really intense energy. Yeah, so there's a lot of Eight of Pentacles that you're dealing with. Could be essentially Leo as a sort of working force as well. Lots of fire signs you might be meeting. But with the Eight of Pentacles, it certainly is a type of waiting for the seeds that you have sown with the work situations and any sort of networks, or you holding on to your pentacles and trying to maintain a sense of groundedness with you and the society around you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut these into 3. Okay, Capricorn. So the core of your reading, the undertone, if you will, is the Lovers. Gemini energy, essentially twin flame energy. There certainly is someone you've met that is having no overall effect. This could be from the past or the present, or if you live in some sort of soulmate energy, this is karmic. This is beyond the confines of time. Now, with this season of Gemini, there certainly is a lot of love in the air for you. And this is something that you are quite aware of in terms of possibility and flirtation and any sort of creative urges that you have in order to reach your anima or animus, that is the female or divine masculine energy according to Jungian astrology and psychoanalysis. With the Lovers, there certainly is duplicity going on more than anything, the ability to manifest as above, so below, the duality of existence, that is being more grounded or potentially more airy with your approach to manifesting things. It seems to me that Capricorns tend to scale the mountains of existence and they try to be in a grounded way, enamored with the forces of air way up on a mountainside. They're able to work with the force of gravity as well, and that it is a downward pulling force, or a centripetal force according to the Earth's spin, and are able to look within for their own sort of self-love. You could be dealing with self-love in a way, and so your self-representation this month comes across as very lovely. Okay, so we'll keep that there as the underlying force. Do a quick shuffle. Okay, interesting. We come up with the Five of Staves in the upright position. There certainly is a lot of passionate sort of interplay and mental, but more heart-based passions, and you trying to figure out a sort of way to deal with other people on a passionate level. There may be a conflict of passions. Usually, the four of rods is essentially connection, and after a sort of a starting of a journey, a betrothal, so a sort of fiance, sort of honeymooning going on with the Four of Swords. With the five, there are challenges. So five of rods, there certainly are challenges you're going through with a conflict of passion that creates more of a cohesion, but also more of a self-righteousness when it comes to the way you express on a passionate level. Okay, your fifth Mercury, or potentially your fifth house, might be causing a bit of affliction with the way you express, especially if you're a Capricorn ascendant, your passions, and they come in conflict with others. There may be a lot of potential emotional barriers, or things that don't open your capacity to be passionate on an equal plane with your potential lovers or soulmates. Okay, so there also might be a bit of dealing with carnal desire and being able to express that. There's a lot of Leo energy in this. Okay, there's a lot of Leo. You might be dealing with Leo, Gemini, I see as well. Perhaps another Capricorn. Difficulty trying to express your primal urges. Okay, primal urges. So now we're talking animus, which is the divine masculine force within you, and trying to tame that and temper it alchemically, as we see here, with this transformative energy from passion into emotion. Okay, emotion, I'm talking about true emotion, supreme love, and manifestation of creative forces that are more cosmic versus grounded on this primal sort of thing. I would recommend focusing on, if you are, any sort of activities that would clarify or purge any blockages you have around your sacral energy center, your sacral chakra, and below, including the root chakra. There could be blockages there. Perhaps potentially your diet and your fitness regime might not be entirely up to par. Also, we're talking about 11th house energies, so your networks around you. There might be certain networks, especially like Tinder or anything like that, that might need taming in terms of where you put your sexual energy to. But like I said, there has been a soulmate connection with lovers that has essentially squelched your ability to, or hindered your ability to manifest true sexual sort of alchemy with potential lovers, including Leo. I see a lot of Leo in this, and creating essentially a conflict of passions. Okay. I need a bit more clarity with this card in particular. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So your goals seem to be indicated here. Your goals with this person, if you are in a relationship, or if not, if you're single, the projections of goals come up as reverse. You might not be seeing them as essentially a way to really attain the lust for life that you are searching for as a Capricorn, in which you can share a sort of vision with your potential other and manifest that in a certain way, a certain degree that is very much based on commitment and expansion of resources and being quite fundamentally sound. You're definitely done with the Nine of Pentacles energy and have moved to a more mature sort of, you're looking for a committed relationship. And what I see here is that the other person that you're dealing with might actually just be in it for the sex. Indicated here by the lust as sort of crossing the five of rods. The Five of Rods. Okay, so lust, which comes up as mostly positive, and the Five of Rods was also positive. There certainly is a conflict of passion and not enough commitments. You are looking for that, but it's not that the person doesn't embody this. I mean, you're probably willing more to provide for the situation, but there's a lot of passion and a lot of conflict of passion, potentially impotence or rejection of love that has not come with the sort of commitment you're looking for. And it seems that you might be feeling more that this is almost like a dream that can't really come to fruition, because you might be even dealing with your own stability. I don't see any other pentacles, but I mean, this is a love reading, and once again, the Lovers indicates a conflict of passion, or perhaps an inability to let passion flow accordingly. There might have been a time where you were offered with the Knight of Swords, maybe recently, very recently, communication in the form of lighthearted intellectual capacities, communication that was mostly over text-based formats, so instant messages and email, less email, more instant messages, and perhaps texting on WhatsApp or whatever you use. And yeah, so lighthearted, flighty, and like sort of cutty. There's certain sort of stances that were almost like a martial art in your communications with this person. But like I said, I think there is a fundamental drive that is driving this relationship into a rekindling of passion, or perhaps an extension of passion that wasn't really manifest at the end of the day. But there was an offer to sort of negotiate passions with this person with a lot of Leo energy, as well as fire signs in general, so Aries or Sagittarius, is essentially trying to rekindle the flame of passion that might have not come because there might have been a rejection in terms of sort of life end or the long term, or there might be a lot of money problems that essentially is blocking any sort of real commitment factor. And this, at the same time, this is unsaid. You guys may have been talking, but not really talking towards commitment. Maybe talking more towards passionate sort of exchange or lighthearted sort of capability on a very primal drive. And this is causing a bit of mental pain or a bit of mental flightiness in terms of your communications. I wouldn't say pain so much, more just like a flightiness with and a hapdash, sort of in and out sort of communication. But if the communication is there, and it certainly is, it wants to be about the long term, but it's very subtle energy, and mostly it's just you two trying to create and reinstate passion. Okay. What exactly is Capricorn dealing with this person in general as it pertains to the past? Okay. So the past, I want to focus on the past here with these three shuffles, and how generally the past situation, how this person and you have reacted to this past association. Okay, interesting. The Tower. The Tower is definitely coming up here. There certainly was a Tower moment in your past. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out because I think that's really important to think about, because Towers are usually well, in many ways more than one. I would say the Tower, if this is a masculine and feminine relationship, not to be sexist or anything, but Tower points to extreme tension within the act of the explosive act of creation, let's say. So Once again, the sex motif comes in. The Tower is all about phallus and like the sort of explosion that destroys the structure of something. You know, take what you will. There certainly is a lot of sexual connotation with the Tower, and there's also a bit of twin flame energy here with dove or some sort of bird. There's also a Naga, which is like a crazy mystical serpent. Would rather not incorporate that similar, but there's also the all-seeing eye, the great eye, as well as the third chakra that's really opened up according to this Tower moment. There might have been an awakening with you and this person, potentially a twin, because if twin is usually indicative of Tower-like situations where triggers create psychological triggers, especially create the need to reassess the ego, keep the ego in check, and yeah, I'm seeing that there's a lot of conflict on the Pentacles level. We're already seeing a progression here. Certainly is not very cool in terms of, and I see here Taurus as well. Taurus is definitely here. A love offer might have been rejected. There might have been rejection here. Dear Capricorn, I'm sorry about that. If you have a big heart, and I know you do, you might have moved out and not moved out of a place, but moved towards this person with a cup of friendship or even love, and it wasn't really taken too well. I don't know why. The Tower could indicate a certain crumbling of potentially another party or another sort of hearth or something that was somebody was creating, and it was completely destroyed. And karmic, there was a lot of karma dealing with multiple sort of influences, multiple spheres, and I see this person you're dealing with as sort of really controlling, and the control was lost when the Tower happened. Lots of ego death on both sides, even for you, Capricorn, but this other person essentially was dealing with a lot of financial instability, okay? As well as you might not be entirely stable, therefore there is a sort of like mystery behind the way future commitment can work, long-term can work in terms of abundance. But yeah, sadly there certainly is a reason why there was a rejection. Let's go ahead and figure out that reason why. I'll give it a few shuffles and figure out why there was an offer of love rejected. It really sort of created, it was either that created the Tower moment, or the Tower moment that created the rejection, because there was just not enough energy to entertain any type of commitment. Okay? Queen of Pentacles came up, also Five of Swords, lots of mental anguish. Could be dealing with Taurus, Pisces, or Capricorn. Let's go ahead and clarify the Knight of Cups. Why is it in reverse? Why was there a rejection? Good. Yeah, Six of Wands, interesting. Okay, yeah. So, this card indicates that there was a cycle that needed to be ended in terms of mental anguish. This indicates a lot of psychological trauma, perhaps even post-traumatic trauma that stems from an emotional separation. Ten of Swords is usually when the universe conspires to create the end of karma, the end of certain cycles of behavior that are psychologically fueled, ways of working with ego and working with the heart, and the heart is essentially becoming sacrificed, as we see here, to Three of Swords energy, plus the remainder, the Seven of Swords, that is essentially dealing with a lot of mental conflict. Excuse me. And these two together. So the end and the burden created not enough energy This person might have been coming out of a sort of really difficult tribulation in their life that caused a lot of mental pain, and because of so, it was pain on their heart as well, because they weren't available on an emotional level because of all the mental stress to entertain any offers of love. That is why. It doesn't mean that there wasn't love there. It just means that it wasn't being able to be expressed because there was so much fucking work, excuse my language, on the mental plane and the mental sphere, lots of psychological pressure, okay, and not enough energy to deal with it. It even affected this person on a physical level. Therefore, I'm going to guess this is you, Capricorn. Your cup of love wasn't really accepted. I'm sorry about that. Doesn't mean it's over though. We have to read into the future now, very near future, of how this relationship will pan out for Capricorn. June 2019. Excuse me, my throat's really, really messed up right now. All the allergies. Oh, looks like Jory's coming. That's good. Emotional wealth, essentially. Yeah, there it is again. Emotional wealth, joy, joie de vie. Okay, so let's see what we have here for Capricorn. Okay. Yeah. Once again, the Leo comes out. Lots of Taurus, Libra energy, as well as the Four of Rods, Aries, and Venus energy. So lots of Taurus, lots of Libra, Aries, and Leo. Leo showing up again. Let's start with Leo. So if you're dealing with Leo and there's a lot of sexual sort of intensity, we have the Queen of Rods here. There's a lot of dominance and controlling aspects with the Queen of Rods. Tempering of the animalistic behaviors, tempering with control and determination, a type of dynamic in the relationship that is highly sexually charged and passionate and domineering in a positive way. I mean, because usually this brings forth sun-like energy and the ability to reinforce egos on a mutual respect, out of mutual respect. Yeah, we'll need clarification on that one. There's also the Empress in reverse. If you have any Libra or Taurus in your chart, or your lover has this in their chart, there is a possibility of disempowerment with fertility and anything that has to do with coming into power of the divine feminine. The divine feminine in this relationship, whether it be you or them or both, if you're in a same-sex marriage, there is an inability to be fertile in the moment, in the near future. Unfortunately, they are out of their anima power. They are unavailable in terms of creating the fertility and the sort of bounty that they are naturally doing anyway. This could be because of all the pain they've been through with all the change, and this temptation of physical carnal lust is being potentially a determining factor. I would say that the divine feminine in the relationship may currently be asexual or completely sort of drained on their base or root chakra. There isn't the energy to sort of manifest and bring forth newness, okay? When we're dealing with Taurus and Libra, we're dealing with the throat chakra as well as the central sacral chakra, as well as the heart. That whole area might be completely blocked, as seen with the Queen. She holds like a flower, kind of like a caduceus or a scepter that is coming from her navel up into her throat almost, okay? Which is indicative of trying to reinforce and heal in that way. I see a lot of healing for the divine feminine in this relationship. This could be you, this could be your lover. But I see more of your lover here, especially if they are Libra or a Taurus. They're ruled by Venus. There's also the two moons, which are essentially crescent moons. You might have to wait for the next new moon energy, which could come in 3 weeks or so from now, from this reading, from the publishing date. So I would say within 3 weeks they will be more into their own power, and they will shift into a sort of positivity in terms of the Empress energy. But I do see joy. I do see passions being reignited. There might have been travel with the three of rods, and the next step is the four of rods. So structure, we're looking at structures of passion that are extremely well-rounded, and they create sun-like energy here, very beautiful energy. Okay, there's also Venus and Aries working together as a sort of on the axis of relationship and drive, on the fires of creation, which is a very good card to have as an outcome card. But be careful, there might be a manipulation, but you probably know this already. There certainly is one person, probably the divine feminine, that is more assertive in terms of getting what they want and how they want it and in what fashion they want it. Don't worry, you will be able to satisfy them in this respect, Capricorn. Could also work vice versa if you have a lot of fire in your chart, but I'm not really concerned with that. I will do a small pyramid for clarification on this, like what are the paths to take for the four of rods, and how to manifest like a cohesion in terms of getting the divine feminine into alignment with the divine masculine. Okay, let's see here. Yeah. Yep. Okay. There it is again. The Six of Cups is the ultimate bounty. This is soulmate. This is twin flame. If you're into that sort of thing, there certainly is a reward. A reward that goes beyond time and space. It goes way back into the incarnation of the pure soul, Capricorn. There certainly is a sort of moving forward in a very idealized and youthful way to this energy, which celebrates more than anything the conception of the universe. There's something great to be had with this relationship. There's a lot of soulmate energy, there's a lot of love, there's a lot of unconditional love, there's a lot of supreme love that transcends any horseshit, really. There's also the Six of Pentacles in reverse, which is, it comes in the form of little joy, but it certainly is indicative of beauty, of grace, of really sort of coming into power, especially if you have any sort of financial sort of drawbacks that have happened in the past. There's a step towards something that reminds you of winning in a certain way. The sixes are usually a card of celebration, rite of passage. With the Fool being here, there certainly is the ability to take the next step forward. Okay. Okay. Any potentials? Yeah, interesting. With the Seven of Rods, there's also, I would call this the second reignition. Okay, it's like if you're burning a rocket and it's flying up to space, it has certain stages. Okay, so in one way, this relationship has gone up into space after the first ignition. So 3, 2, 1, blast off. And there are certain silos that are dropped off as they make their way up to the atmosphere, so that the shuttle, let's call it the USS Capricorn, is essentially flying up. It's flying up into the atmosphere. It's dropping and jettisoning certain preconditioned or pre-fueled canisters of fire. Okay. So these passions, these passions that fuel the liftoff of the relationship are just they're just mere. They were contained, they were burnt off, and there's more to be sort of come about. And there might be 3 or 4 different stages, perhaps up to 7 stages, until you reach, the destination, which is essentially outer space, out of the atmosphere. And there will be a lot more sort of free-flowing, non-inertial-like space out there. Ultimately, the opposing, there's a lot of Leo energy here as well as some Aries energy. The opposing sort of dichotomies of passion are being jettisoned to create a cohesive new passion between you and your lover, or perhaps if you're on the path to self-discovery, your own Capricorn, which I would not sort of, as a cardinal sign, I totally resonate with that message more. You have to focus on your passionate drive in order to make this really happen. Make yourself shine and make yourself beautiful enough to join them into the heavens. Okay, Capricorn, this has been your general reading / relationship reading for mid-June 2019. I appreciate it. Once again, my name is Ron, clairvoyant on the channel Tarot of the Twin Sun, and thank you.